Bruce Willis moved into a specialized memory care residence on August 15, 2025. His family committed $200,000 a year, so he'd have round-the-clock safety and support. The man who once growled through fireballs in Die Hard can no longer speak. And even that, sadly, isn't the harshest truth. Emma Willis later admitted something she'd carried alone for years. She thought Bruce was simply growing distant. She didn't realize a disease was quietly unspooling his mind. It had been taking pieces of him long before anyone recognized it. What the family uncovered would move anyone to tears. Bruce Willis was born on March 19, 1955, in Idar Oberstein, a small West German town. His father, an American GI stationed there after the war, and his mother, a German woman from Kassel, gave him a childhood split between cultures. He started life on a military base, surrounded by the echoes of recent conflict, one foot in American discipline, the other in German tradition. Then came a jolt of change. In 1957, when Bruce was 2, his father left the service and moved the family to New Jersey. Overnight, he went from the boy from Germany to another kid in a tough working-class neighborhood. His dad worked with metal. His mom took entry-level jobs in banks. Money was thin. Bruce felt caught between worlds. Around age 6, a stubborn stutter took hold. Words snagged mid-sentence like he was trapped in quicksand. Classmates laughed and called him Buck Buck. Sometimes he swung first just to defend himself. Those speech blocks bruised his confidence more than the teasing. By 10, school felt like a daily gauntlet. He skipped classes to avoid being called on and leaned into pranks to misdirect attention. Then came an unlikely opening. In the early 1970s, around age 15, he joined the drama club. Something astonishing happened. On stage, the stutter disappeared. Stepping into a character, he spoke cleanly, no fear, no pause. Teachers were stunned. Acting handed him back his voice. The shift was life-altering. By 1973, he was student council president. Snickers from a few kids no longer mattered. He'd found his lane. In 1975, while studying theater at Montclair State University, 2 professors gave him targeted speech therapy that sharpened his control even more. But by 1977, he was restless. He left school and charged into New York City. He had no connections and little cash, so he bartended long hours, crashing on couches, squeezing into tiny apartments. He'd skate to work, blow the harmonica for tips, and turn the bar into a stage. Rejection poured down, more than 100 no's that first year, but he kept at it. He landed off-Broadway parts, including 1977's Heaven and Earth. It wasn't glamorous. Some nights he slept on benches. Still, people took notice. Commercials trickled in, then small movie bits. And by 1980, he even crossed paths on camera with Frank Sinatra. There were bruises along the way. Breaking up a bar scuffle one night, he shattered his nose and needed emergency surgery. Doctors warned his voice could suffer. It didn't. He came back with a scar and a little extra edge. He also forged friendships that lasted decades. Behind the counter at Chelsea Central, he met John Goodman, and the two would improvise wild mini-plays for tiny crowds. The pay was a few dollars a week, but they left it all on the floor. That raw, unscripted energy honed Bruce's timing, and the electric crackle he'd one day bring to film. Then came 1985. Bruce auditioned for a quirky new series called Moonlighting. About 3,000 actors wanted the lead. ABC turned him down 11 times. He showed up once more, shaved head, earrings, swagger, and ad-libbed with such snap the producers burst out laughing. The outsider with the old stutter became the obvious choice. Moonlighting premiered March 3, 1985, and Bruce Willis became a star almost overnight. The shoot was famously chaotic. Episodes ran 120 pages, took twice the time to film, and budgets ballooned. On-set tension with co-star Sybil Shepherd simmered. By 1986, it boiled over, sniping before scenes and sometimes silence off camera. Pressure built until Bruce collapsed from exhaustion in 1988 and was hospitalized. Scripts slipped, ratings dipped, yet on screen the chemistry sizzled, and viewers couldn't look away. Amid the mayhem, he detoured into music. In January 1987, he released The Return of Bruno. Critics smirked. Fans didn't. It went gold at 500,000 sales and hit number 2 in the UK. He teamed with soul legends and played it all with a wink. Bizarre. Bold, very Bruce. Even as Moonlighting's episodes crept past $1 million each, delays stacked up Shepard's 1987 pregnancy and the 1988 writer's strike. On May 14, 1989, the series wrapped. Bruce had gone from 1 in 500 gigs to $50,000 per episode and now had Hollywood's full attention. He wasn't supposed to be an action titan, he was the wisecracking TV guy. But in the late 1980s, a script called Die Hard kept getting passed around. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone said no. Because of a quirky rights issue, Frank Sinatra was even asked. He declined. Then the studio turned to Bruce and offered $5 million. That was Dustin Hoffman's Robert Redford money, and people thought the studio had lost its mind. Shooting began in late 1987 at Fox Plaza in Los Angeles. When the film opened on July 15, 1988, no one expected the blast radius. More than $140 million worldwide, and Bruce Willis reborn as a big-screen force. There was a price. A close-quarters detonation damaged his left ear, leaving partial permanent hearing loss. He kept quiet so production wouldn't halt, but the injury never fully healed, and it shadowed him into the 2000s. Still, as John McClane, he looked like the guy down the hall, bleeding, bruised, refusing to quit. Audiences fell in love with that. The next year, he zagged again, voicing a wisecracking infant in Look Who's Talking. It sounded like a throwaway. It wasn't. Thanks to a profit share deal, he earned $10 million for just 4 days in the booth. The film cost under $10 million and hauled in nearly $300 million worldwide. He pocketed another $10 million for the sequel. In September 1989, he pivoted to drama with In Country, playing a haunted Vietnam vet. He grew a mustache, tamped down the charm, and delivered quiet pain. Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars. The box office shrugged. Still, the risk mattered. By 1990, the throttle was back open. Die Hard 2 hit theaters on July 4th. He secured $5 million upfront plus back end, a smart call since the film made over $240 million. He argued to keep the action grounded, not cartoonish, an instinct that protected the brand. By 1995, his Die Hard 3 paycheck reached $15 million, not every swing connected. The Look Who's Talking sequel, out in late 1990, sputtered at $47 million, drew harsh reviews. He'd recorded all his lines in 3 days, and later admitted the script wasn't ready. He sued the producer for $2 million in alleged profits. The case was tossed. Fast deals, slow regrets. Then came the pivot, 1994's Pulp Fiction. Quentin Tarantino cast him as Butch, the boxer who won't take a dive. Bruce took $800,000, far below his quote, because he believed. The movie cleared $200 million, won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, and rebooted his image. Gritty, fearless, real. He doubled down in 1995 with 12 Monkeys, dropping 20 lbs, visiting psychiatric hospitals, and fracturing his shoulder during a stunt. The film crossed $160 million and earned 2 Oscar nominations. Bruce wasn't nominated, but the depth of the work was undeniable. In 1997 came the neon-bright The Fifth Element. It cost nearly $90 million and banked over $260 million. He did his own stunts, despite hating those tight orange suspenders, and the film became a cult classic. Then, 1998's Armageddon blew past $553 million to become the year's top earner. Behind the scenes was a grind. He clashed with Michael Bay over cut family scenes and sparred with Jerry Bruckheimer. Still, he improvised the tearful goodbye that gave the movie its heart. Despite 4 Oscar nods, Bruce picked up a Razzie for Worst Actor in 1999. A strange coda for a monster hit. His private life drew headlines too. He met Demi Moore in July 1987 at a screening while she was still engaged to Emilio Estevez. On November 21, 1987, they married in Las Vegas, spur of the moment. Under $1,000, then held a larger ceremony a month later with Little Richard officiating for about 100 guests. Rumors swirled that Demi was pregnant before the vows. Their first daughter, Rumor, arrived 9 months later in August 1988. Scout followed in 1991 and Tallulah in 1994. They tried rotating work to steady family life, but fame is a strain. Demi earned a then-record $12, $5 million for striptease in 1996, while gossip linked both to alleged affairs. In 1995, Bruce reportedly stormed off a set after a blow-up. They stayed united in public, but cracks spread. Separation came in 1998. The divorce finalized in October 2000. Untangling a $200 million estate was brutal. Bruce paid up to $90 million among Hollywood's priciest splits, and custody required care. Demi kept the Idaho ranch. Remarkably, they built a friendship for the children's sake. Demi attended Bruce's 2009 wedding to Emma Hemming and his 2019 vow renewal. In 2020, he quarantined with Demi and their 3 adult daughters in Idaho, while Emma, caring for the younger girls after a foot injury, cheered. From L.A., that blended family rallied again after the 2022 aphasia diagnosis and the 2023 confirmation of frontotemporal dementia. There were darker notes. In 1992, a woman claimed he'd fathered her child after a 1991 one-night stand. A DNA test, about $5,000, proved he wasn't the father, but the tabloid blast hurt and strained the marriage. Then came a towering return, 1999's The Sixth Sense. For $14 million, he anchored a quiet thriller with a now famous twist. His character, Malcolm Crowe, was dead the whole time. The film earned nearly $673 million, held number 1 for 5 weeks. RSP.